Welcome back, warrior. All right, we are on Alma chapter 27. Can you believe it? We're getting close to where we're supposed to be. Okay, we're so far behind. We're almost not able to link to where we're supposed to be. Isn't that crazy? Okay, I'm hoping to cover 27, 28, and 29 today because 26 was a little bit longer than I thought. 27 is longer than I thought too. 28 short and 29 short. All right. We're going to see how we do. Okay, 27's recap here. Or the little summary, is the Lord commands Ammon to lead the people of Anti-Nephi-Lehi to safety upon meeting Alma. Amulon's joy exhausts his strength. The Nephites give them the land of Jershon. They are called the people of Ammon. Okay. Oh, I love this. I made a bunch of notes in these scriptures that I really loved from Elder Holland, called Like a Broken Vessel. Oh, and you know what? This was during D-Day time. So this was in my Alma chapter 26 section, which I didn't realize, but we'll recap it real quick right here. And then right here, I put that this is my testimony. I love that, right? Just wanted to preserve that there. Crazy. Okay. So, 27. Here we go. We've got this. Now, it came to pass that when those Lamanites who had gone to war against the Nephites had found after their many struggles to destroy them that it was in vain to seek their destruction, they returned again to the land of Nephi. And it came to pass that the Amalekites, because of their loss, were exceedingly angry, and when they saw that they could not seek revenge from the Nephites, they began to stir up the people in anger against their brethren, the people of Anti-Nephi-Lehi. Therefore, they began again to destroy them. Those Lamanites. You know what I'm saying? Wait, what? Hold on. It looks like the Amalekites begin to slay the people of Anti-Nephi-Lehi. Yeah. Okay. It's like so cold down here. Now this people, again, refused to take their arms, and they suffered themselves to be slain according to the desires of their enemies. So the Amalekites and other Lamanites returned, and they were angry. They focused their anger on the people of Anti-Nephi-Lehi again. Their hate was fueling for them. They had already caused so much suffering in their own nation among the Nephites and among themselves. But that didn't stop them. Their anger overshadowed everything else. The people of Anti-Nephi-Lehi were again easy targets because their weapons were still buried, and they were still holding true to their covenant to God that they would never again kill. So what happened again? And they suffered themselves to be slain. That's so sad. Now, when Ammon and his brethren saw this work of destruction among those whom they so dearly beloved, and among those who had so dearly beloved them, for they were treated as though they were angels sent from God to save them from everlasting destruction. Therefore, when Ammon and his brethren saw this great work of destruction, they were moved with compassion, and they said unto the king, Let us gather together this people of the Lord, and let us go down to the land of Zarahemla, to our brethren the Nephites, and flee out of the hands of our enemies, that we be not destroyed. But the king said unto them, Behold, the Nephites will destroy us because of the many murders, sins we have committed against them. And Ammon said, I will go and inquire of the Lord. If he say unto us, Go down unto our brethren, will ye go? And the king said unto him, If the Lord saith unto us, Go, we will go down unto our brethren, and we will be their slaves until we repair unto them the many murders and sins which we have committed against them. But Ammon said unto him, It is against the law of our brethren, which was established by my father, that there should be any slaves among them. Therefore let us go down and rely upon the mercies of our brethren. But the king said unto him, Inquire of the Lord, and if he saith unto us, Go, we will go. Otherwise we will perish in the land. Oh, sounds so hard. Okay. And it came to pass that Ammon went and inquired of the Lord. And the Lord said unto him, wait, am I supposed to read this part? Yeah. Get this people out of the land, out of this land, that they perish not, for Satan has great hold on the hearts of the Amalekites, who do stir up the Lamanites to anger against their brethren to slay them. Therefore get thee out of this land, and blessed are this people in this generation, for I will preserve them. Oh, amazing. Okay, so really quick. I love it when the Lord tells people to leave a land that has been abusive to them, that has been like because of the fact that people are going to come to try and destroy them. The Lord does not require us to just endure things all the time. And sometimes there's a season to stay and fight. There's a season to stay and sacrifice yourself, apparently. And then there's a season to flee. And after D-Day, you have to kind of decide what the Lord is trying to tell you to do there. I love that they inquired of the Lord first because they were willing to stay in the land and perish, right? But that the Lord does not require us to sacrifice ourselves like that all the time. So I think it's important for us to remember that you don't have to try to be the hero all the time. The Lord is your hero, and pray and find out what it is that you are supposed to do. And do that. You know, it's hard because you're not sure what to do because you've been gaslit this whole time. And so it's hard for you to connect with the Spirit to know what the Spirit is trying to tell you. But if you can try and work on that connection for your self-care and try to work on feeling the Spirit and discerning those promptings that the Lord is trying to send you, it's going to be so much easier for you to understand what He's going to tell you when you have these hard questions about staying or going, or and it's not something that anybody can tell you to do. That's just something that's definitely between you and the Lord, because guess what's going to happen? You are going to endure a lot of torture either way, and you need to be 100% sure of what it is that you chose to do. And guess what? The Lord is going to be by your side no matter what you choose. At least that's what He told me. And so it was like freeing to know that He was going to be with me regardless of my choice. And He can do the same for you. So, okay, the recap. The sons of Mosiah saw what was happening among these people. They so dearly beloved, for they were treated as though they were angels sent from God to save them. What a heart-wrenching and beautiful verse that describes this relationship that had developed. Brother Douglas D. Holmes, first counselor in the General Young Men's Presidency, quoted verse 4 when he said, "Young men, you are authorized messengers. Through your words and actions, you can bring faith in Christ to the hearts of God's children. As President Russell M. Nelson said, to them you will be as a ministering angel." End quote. Douglas Holmes, April 2018 General Conference. I love that so much. Okay, so the sons of Mosiah came up with a plan to take all of the believers and move them to the land of the Nephites. But this carried a lot of risk. They could not be leaving one enemy and putting themselves in the hands of another. So Ammon went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord said, and it's true, because let me tell you, when either way, Satan is going to try and torture you. No matter what decision you choose, you have to be okay with knowing that the torture is coming in that way. And this is the same thing right here, where it says leaving one enemy, okay, and putting themselves in the hands of another. Technically, our brothers and sisters are not our enemy. Technically, the enemy is Satan, right? And Satan's going to try and torture us regardless of where we're at. So we just have to decide which kind of torture are we going to prefer, right? So anyways, so the Lord said, get this people out of this land, for I will preserve them. And that is the same thing that he will do for you. The Lord knew the hearts of the Amalekites. He knew their intentions. And he said, get this people out. So you decide. You get to decide with the Lord what it is that you choose, that you need to do. Okay, verse 13. And now it came to pass that Ammon went and told the king all the words which the Lord had said unto him. 14. And they gathered together all their people, yea, all the people of the Lord, and did gather together all their flocks and herds, and departed out of the land, and came into the wilderness, which divided the land of Nephi from the land of Zarahemla, and came over near the borders of the land. And it came to pass that Ammon said unto them, behold, I and my brethren will go forth into the land of Zarahemla, and ye shall remain there, or ye shall remain here until we return, and we will try the hearts of our brethren, whether they will that ye shall come into their land. And it came to pass, as Ammon was going forth into the land, that he and his brethren met Alma over the place of I was pressing pause. However, I realize now that I was not pressing pause, because I was actually... Hello, miss. Because I'm going to use this to stretch my arms, because my arms hurt. My shoulders hurt. Okay, so now I was reading 24, this recap, so I guess I will now continue that, because you might have missed it. So the sons of Mosiah go to the chief judge, and he sends out a proclamation, and the decision is made to give these people the land of Jershon. This is on the border of the land, which leaves them vulnerable. So the Nephites, I am not done yet. The Nephites will use their own armies to protect them, and are asking the people of anti-Nephi Lehi to help support those troops. That is a good exchange. Good thing that Alma had been working tirelessly to strengthen the Nephites and teach them to bear one another's burdens and care for the poor and needy among them. Had they been in the wicked and prideful state they were in at the beginning of Alma's ministry, we can only wonder how they would have responded to this request. Yeah. It is your bow. Do you want your bow back? Okay, hold on. So this is Flora's bow. Are you going to put it? Are you going to wear it? Are you going to put it on? Yeah. If you're not going to wear it, can I wear it? No, don't put it on stuff. That's just for hair. Okay, verse 25. It says, now it came to pass that when Ammon had heard this, he returned to the people of he returned to the people of anti-Nephi Lehi, and also Alma with him, into the wilderness, where they had pitched their tents, and made known unto them all these things. And Alma also related unto them, the people of anti-Nephi, his conversion with Ammon and Aaron and his brethren. Okay, so this is their new name. And it came to pass that it did cause great joy among them, and they went down into the land of Jershon, and took possession of the land of Jershon, and they were called the Nephites. The people of Ammon, and they were called by the Nephites the people of Ammon. Therefore, they were distinguished by that name ever after. So now they're the people of Ammon. Those poor peeps. They're like, it doesn't matter what we're named, right? And they were among the people of Nephi, and also numbered among the people who were, and they were among the people of Nephi, and also numbered among the people who were of the church of God. And they were also distinguished for their zeal towards God, and also towards men. For they were perfectly honest and upright in all things, and they were firm in the faith of Christ, even unto the end. Okay, so after D-Day, if you are looking for getting your spouse to trust you because maybe you were the one who did the betraying, okay, then this is what you need to do. You need to be perfectly honest. Okay, your trust bucket is completely empty. In fact, there's a big gaping hole. And when you figure out how to tape it up together, we'll get you a whole new bucket because that's what Christ can do. And then you start putting drops into that trust bucket so that your spouse can start to trust you. Some of the things Clark did were he would tell me when he was coming home, and he would be very exact about it. And if he wasn't, he would tell me where he was going to go on his way home. And this was just something simple, but it was something that he did that helped me trust him more. And so it was like he could be trusted. His word could be trusted about coming home. So I was like, okay, so that's one thing. And then other things he did to be honest were just like, be honest about feelings, emotions, talk to me about all those things. And we ended up talking a lot, all the time. Felt like every night we had like 4-hour talk after D-Day. And he was just trying to really be perfectly honest with what had happened and with where we were at, where he was at. And that, I think that helped me a lot, and helped me reestablish the bucket, right? And to put drops in, because there's a difference between forgiving someone and then there's like, I can forgive a complete stranger for like cutting me off. You're forgiven, but I don't want a relationship with that stranger, right? And I don't want to drive behind or next to that stranger ever again. Why? Because I don't trust them, because they cut me off, and I could have gotten in a wreck, right? And so, but if there's something where, or like maybe somebody who hit the side of my car, like I wouldn't trust them to drive next to me or close to me, because I'm going to fear that they are going to run into me. And so in order to win that trust back, they have to do things to do that. And so, yeah, I can easily forgive them. Like, hey, it happens, we're distracted drivers. I forgive you, right? But if we're going to have a relationship together where we're going to drive next to each other, or like we're in like a race or something, I'm not going to feel safe. And so I need to know that this person can be trusted. And so then they have to put things into the trust bucket. So that is basically what that is. And so when someone says that you're forgiven, that doesn't mean that we trust you at all. It has nothing to do with trust. It just means that we're trying to be like Jesus and we're trying to forgive you. But now if you want to establish a relationship, well, that's a whole nother thing. If you want to start that back up, if you want to keep going in this relationship, we need to have things in place. Anyways, verse 28. And look, and they were upright in all things. They were firm in the faith of Christ, even unto the end. So that's the kind of transformation we're looking for in our spouse when we are betrayed, or that's the kind of transformation that needs to happen to our spouse when they have betrayed us. And we look at their steps. We look at their steps. We look at what they're doing, what they're saying. We're very good at observing. You don't actually have to say words for us to know almost like where you're at with things, except for the being perfectly honest. Those are words you need to say and do. So then at verse 28, and they did look upon shedding the blood of their brethren with the greatest abhorrence, and they never could be prevailed upon to take up arms against their brethren, and they never did look upon death with any degree of terror, for their hope and views of Christ and the resurrection. Therefore, death was swallowed up to them by the victory of Christ over it. Therefore, they would suffer death in the most aggravating and distressing manner, which could be inflicted by their brethren before they would take the sword or scimitar to smite them. And thus they were a zealous and beloved people, a highly favored people of the Lord. Right? That's a beautiful verse right there. Okay. So they go to the land of Jershon, and the people call them the people of Ammon, which is the name that sticks. And from here on out, that is what they are called. All the people have distinguishing features, and verse 27 explains what distinguished them: their zeal towards God and their zeal towards man. Elder Renland explained what this means. Okay, their zeal towards God likely reflects an eagerness to please God and worship him with fervor and passion. This is the level of healing we need and recovery we need to see in our spouses. Their zeal towards men suggests an ardent interest in helping and serving others. Being perfectly upright and honest in all things suggests that they held their covenants firmly and did not rationalize their commitments to God or man or woman. We further know that they taught their children the gospel in their homes. We know that they buried their weapons of war, distancing themselves from temptations. What does that say? Distancing themselves from temptations. Because what did they do? They buried them. You can't just be like, I'm gonna put my phone over there. Okay, that's not distancing yourselves from temptations. Okay, they must have frequently assessed the condition of their spiritually changed hearts. Frequently assessed. It's not like a one-time thing. You got to continue that assessment to see how your heart is changing, or to see if there's any part of Satan in there still trying to wiggle in there, because we don't want to allow Satan into our heart. And they did not simply assume that all was well. By figuratively examining their changed hearts, they could identify any early hardening or rejection and treat it. Hello. I love this so much. Anyways, that was end quote after the little phrase, treat it. Elder Dale G. Renlund, October 2009 General Conference. Amazing. So these are some of the best people in the Book of Mormon. And see, and it is not impossible. Okay, this is like the equation. These were some of the worst people, or I guess these were the people that did some of the worst things, yet they repented and they came unto Christ, and now look at that. Now it says they're some of the best people. They were always children of God, but they changed, right? From making wicked choices to making the best choices. They are all completely committed. They are all in completely committed. They know what they have because they have not always had it, and they will not risk going back. They are living, breathing examples of the kind of change that can happen through the atonement of Jesus Christ. Okay, and then one of their questions is, what is your zeal towards God? And what is your zeal towards man? Are you perfectly honest and upright in all things? And are you firm in the faith of Christ even unto the end? And this last question I think is so cool. What do you think it would have been like to live among the people of Ammon in the land of Jershon? I don't even know. Depends, right? Because depends, I guess, on how I was at the time, right? What would be some of those things? I guess I feel like I'm living a little bit in the land of Jershon because my husband was able to experience all of these changes and come unto Christ. I remember telling him at one point, I was like, listen, my relationship with Christ is only getting better, and because I need to rely on him more. And if you're not going to work on your relationship with Christ at all, here's where I'm going to be going, and you're going to be left behind. And I don't want a relationship with someone who is not striving to have a relationship with Jesus Christ, because he is whom I rely on heavily. And so if you're not going to want a relationship with Jesus Christ, then I don't know if our relationship is going to go any further. And I don't know if that did it, or all my other sassy comments. Probably not. In fact, probably the opposite. probably my sassy comments made him think, I don't know why I want to stay here. But I'm grateful that he chose to allow Christ to change his heart and change his behavior. He's not perfect, but he's my not perfect husband now. And we have come a long way individually. And I will say right now, we still haven't had marriage counseling. You know how they always talk about you have to have a therapist yourself and a therapist for your husband, and then you come together, and then later you do marriage counseling. Well, my husband and I have still received healing separately. We haven't done marriage counseling, and I think it was probably because we had kind of a bad experience the first time we went, and we were like, never again for that. But I know that you're supposed to like figure out where you're figure out who your good therapist is going to be. But anyways, yeah, we still are working on our own recovery, our own healing. And like I said on my Instagram channel, healing is not a one-time thing. It is, or a one-time event that you kind of look forward to and you're like, I'm healed. It is a journey. It's a lifelong journey. And I think once I was able to finally accept that, it almost like freed me from having to do all the things right away, you know. Anyways, let's read it, live it. Okay, here's the read it, live it. It says the people of Nephi were distinguished for their zeal towards God, their zeal towards men, being perfectly honest and upright, being firm in the faith of Christ. Be distinguished. Loving that. And it was the people of Nephi. Well, it was the new people of Nephi, the people that went into Jershon, right? But the Nephites allowed them to come in, and what does that say about them also? I love that. Okay, until Alma chapter 28. Stay strong, warrior.